Ayo, so one question I got asked recently that made me think that I should do a video like this was, why wouldn't you switch from Canon? Why do you stick with the Canon brand regardless of the fact that they haven't made amazing cameras, in the past few years, with the exception of the R5. The R5 has probably been it's probably the best camera out there till date. I mean, price to performance ratio, I would say. I mean, man, some new cameras are coming out right now that I can't really say that on my chest. But hey, 45 megapixels, amazing video, amazing camera all around. I've never had any issues with this camera, so I'd say it's still, if not the best, one of the best cameras out there. I'll say top two cameras out there, if not the best. Which camera is competing with it, I don't know. But anyways, I digress. So why wouldn't you switch from Canon to some other brand when other brands are releasing amazing cameras? Nikon came out with the Z8 and Z9. I mean, like, Sony have so many cameras that you just don't know which is which. But I know the last Sony product was the A9. But you just have a ton of cameras, man. When you say Sony Alpha, you don't even know what number you're calling next. Panasonic has been coming out with some amazing cameras, and they've finally sorted out their eye autofocus thing, and their autofocus is good right now. Fuji cameras are great. I mean, I don't really like their crop sensor cameras. I mean, they make the best crop sensor cameras in the world, but I don't care about crop sensor cameras. I prefer full frame cameras. But their medium format cameras have just been amazing. So yeah, with so many camera companies coming out with like killer cameras, like the best in class cameras, why haven't you switched? Now, there are a few reasons why. The first one is that I'm not loyal to Canon in the sense that I can't use some other brand. It's that I'm very used to the system, and sometimes it's almost like I can close my eyes and use the R5. That's how used I am to this. Like, this system is like an extension of me, and that's why I always want my camera to be like. Now, I would say I did switch at a point, and the reason why I switched was, as at the time I was using the 5D Mark III, I needed a camera that could shoot 4K video full frame, and Canon did not have any camera that was like a hybrid camera that could do that at that point. So that's why I switched to the A7 Mark III. But once the R5 came out, I sold my A7 Mark III and came back. I felt like the A7 Mark III just felt like a tool, and it didn't feel like an extension of me. If you're a Sony shooter and you're used to shooting with that system, you would understand what it feels like when you have to switch systems like Canon. It just feels like it's not part of you anymore. And when a camera or when your gear does not feel like an extension of you, it just feels like a chore when you're shooting. And that's how I felt with the Sony camera, the A7 III. Now, I'm not saying it's not a great camera. I did amazing work with that camera, but it just felt different. Another thing I didn't like was I didn't like how the camera felt in hand. I love the fact that Canon cameras have curve to them. If you're holding this camera for a long time, your hands don't get like fatigued and all that, compared to a camera that just has straight lines. And I didn't really like that about the Sony system. So that's why I was kind of like in a hurry to switch back when the R5 came. Now, I've been using this camera for over 5 years now, and I got it immediately it came out, and I absolutely love the camera. I don't have any problems with it. The R5 Mark II is coming out soon, and that's another video that I'll do talking about that camera and the specs that I heard it has, so watch out for that video. But yeah, so that's the first reason why I am sticking with Canon. The fact that I'm just really used to the system, and I don't want to go through a learning phase of wanting another system to become an extension of me like my Canon system is. Number two is money. To switch systems is expensive. I remember when I got my Sony system, I couldn't switch completely. I got two Sony lenses, but they were just mid-range lenses, and I was still using some of my Canon lenses with that system. And that's probably one of the reasons why I did not really buy into that system completely, because I didn't have enough money to buy all the lenses that I needed and all the lenses I was shooting with, because it was pretty expensive. Switching systems is probably one of the most expensive things you can do, because you're going to make a loss on selling the camera system that you have, and then you have to add extra to buy into the new system. So it's a pretty expensive thing to do. Some people have done it and figured out a way to go about it, by selling their systems, or exchanging systems with somebody that is interested in what they have, and then they get what the other person has. I mean, that's great, but for me, I just felt like the cost. I just feel like the cost of switching systems is quite a lot to actually do right now. You know, it's just going to cost me so much. So I'd rather stick with the system that I have, especially when you're invested in it. I became very invested in my Canon systems. By the way, I've sold my lenses. I made a video on that, so if you want to check that out, just check my page, and it's a video on why I sold most of my L lenses and if I'm going to get my L lenses back. But yeah, so I was really invested in the Canon system. I had the RF7200, I had the 51.2 RF, I had the 85 1.2 RF. To sell all that and then invest in a Sony system is probably going to cost me an extra $2,000, which, or even more than that, which definitely going to cost me more than that, which I do not have right now. So yeah, the cost of switching is going to be really expensive, so I'd rather stick with this. The third one and the final one is that Canon is just tested and trusted. Like, you know, when they put out a new camera, you kind of like know the whole limitations of the camera from the beginning, and they're not the type of limitations that will stop you from actually getting work done. At the end of the day, you know, like, your camera has to be able to work perfectly. I've never had a Canon camera break on me. I know some people have. I mean, it's normal. If you use your camera regularly, it will probably get to a point where you'd have one issue or the other with your camera. I use my camera regularly, and not just for photo shoots. I use it to record YouTube videos, as you guys can see. My camera has never broken on me, so I just love the fact that it's reliable, and I'll just stick with the system. Now, when I used my Sony camera, I didn't have any issues with it. It didn't break on me, but I've used Canon cameras for way longer than that, and I'd rather just stick to the system that I know. So yeah, so these three reasons are the reasons why I would still stick to my to the Canon ecosystem. Like, I love the fact that it's just like an extension of me. I started with Canon. I've used it for years. Out of the like 14 years that I've been in photography, I've used it for about 12 years. So you guys know how I am completely used to this. Even with the cinema system, I love the Canon cinema system, not because it gives me everything that I need, but just because I'm so used to it. It's just an extension of me. Finances is another reason. When you look at people bring out these new cameras, it's great, it looks beautiful, but when you look at the cost of switching, it's really expensive. That's like a major reason why I can't. And lastly, like I said, it's just really reliable. So anyways, let me know if you switch systems. Let me know if it was expensive for you. Let me know if you are ever considering switching systems, and let me know if you're not, if you're just going to stick to the system that you know. Anyways, thank you so much for watching today's video. I'll put a link in the description below and a card up here to my pro retouching pack. Check it out. It'll help you retouch better, retouch faster. It's amazing if you are into any type of photography, portrait photography, any type of portrait photography. Check it out. Links will be in the description below. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video, man. Have a great day. Peace out, guys.